Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Pensacola International Superspeedway for the final race in the round of 8 for the NRSL Jerky Pro Truck Series here in 2020. 40 laps of action around this 3-mile high-banked superspeedway, and the Truck Series drivers are ready to go get it. 40 laps of action to find out who the 3 drivers will be joining Atlanta race winner James Ellison in the Final Four race next week at Texas. And my man Vince Freeze is back. Hopefully no more technical difficulties on my end.
Yeah, this is it. Zach. Pensacola Superspeedway. The final race in the round of 8 for these truckers. 3 of them will be goated in glory, and 4 will have to go home fishing. But we'll see what happens, because you know what happens at Pensacola. A wreck can happen. And we also have some strategy, which we'll get to in a second.
That's right. Didn't even bother writing down the caution flag trends, because it's usually as early as lap 1, lap 2, and as late as around lap 9, lap 10. It depends how clean these drivers can be. Clear weather will certainly probably help these drivers out. They'll probably only be hitting speeds of about 200, 205 versus like 210, maybe 215. But let's get to your starting lineup. Playoff driver Yael Carrillo is on the pole, and to his outside is Toby McCoy. Row 2, part-time driver Nico Tringali making his final start for the 54 team. Priya McShane on his outside. Lucas Catano, Benjamin Ice in row 3. Hillary Sanchez, Bradley Ream, row 4. And in row 5 is Greg Torres and another playoff driver, Keith Rich. Carrillo and Rich, the only 2 that start inside the top 10. The rest of them, Ellison starts 16th, but it doesn't matter. He's already locked in with his win. Andrew Rich will start 23rd. Jeremiah Duane 21st. Of course, Carrillo we mentioned on the pole. Those are the 3 drivers in on points right now. Sam Young is starting 27th. Friesen 41st. And Cole Baker 31st. Andrew Rich is in by 11 points over Sam Young and Carter Friesen. Duane by 5. Carrillo obviously by 3. Young and Friesen 3 back. Keith Rich 6 back of Carrillo, 14 back of Rich. With Cole Baker 18 back of Carrillo and 26 back of Rich. And of course, there are 2 more points back from Duane compared to Carrillo. But we're going to go trackside for the command.
Are you ready? Gentlemen, start your engines! Barno.
As the command has been given, they'll start to roll off of pit road here. Race history, Charles Sanford won this race in 2017 by a nose. 18 one-thousandths of a second was the margin. 2018, lap traffic came into play at the end of the race. James Qualls went on to win that race by about 0.4 of a second over Johnny Gardner. And last year, Logan York won this race to advance to the Final Four. He won by 53 one-thousandths of a second over Zach Rogers. Now, with every race over the years, we've had less cars, or trucks in this case, finish the race. It was 35 in 2017, 25 in 2018, and 22 last year. Will that trend continue? One thing to note is this is the first time the Truck Series race has been held under the sun. We normally race here at night, but in the playoffs this time around, they've decided to flip the script. Trucks race in the day, Cup races at night.
Could be an interesting strategy, right? Maybe the nighttime strategy versus the daytime strategy could be flip-flop. But yeah, like you said, man, this is usually an early caution event. Look out for lap 1 and 2. Look out for, I guess, the biggest threat, right? Is Cole Baker at last in points. He's got nothing to lose. I mean, 18 points back. It's not a win you're in, but it's definitely got to lead a lap, maybe lead the most laps and try to get to the front.
Yes, indeed. Now, strategy around here is usually a solid 14, 15 laps. With the clear weather, it might be 16 laps. But it's doubtful this race goes green. But that number is important because we usually have 2 cautions at this racetrack, depending how many get taken out in the first incident. So wherever that yellow flag flies, knowing how many pit stops you have left and how much you can stretch that fuel will be very important. The pace truck's off. Race 26 of the season is green. Real quick, Dylan Thomas, fastest in practice. Elijah Gordon, fastest in happy hour. Both of those drivers starting outside the top 30. So we'll bring up the ticker to just see how fast these cars or trucks rather, are going.
Back they go, 196, 197, climbing to 198.
Already 4 wide racing as Tringali will make a move for the lead. That'll prevent
5 wide almost back there too.
Yes, indeed, and this will prevent Carrillo from leading a lap, which I'm sure he would have liked to have done. But it's about 200 miles an hour out front for these trucks. And they are 4 wide, several rows deep, and oh, they're gonna crowd up! And Cody Rhodes is on his lid, and oh, Jeff Toledo, Greg Torres with a big hit. It's the huge one.
It's the massive one in Pensacola, folks.
That was the huge one. Carrillo is away scot-free. Did anybody else? Keith Rich made it through that. Cole Baker made it through.
Ooh.
I believe Andrew Rich might have some door damage. But it doesn't look to be anything too severe. So that's 4 trucks making it through. As Tringali will lead him to the caution. This has to be the biggest lap 2 wreck I've seen in a long time. And there are definitely a lot of trucks on pit road. Toby McCoy started second with heavy damage. Zach Rogers in his final start on the season. Looks like it's going to end early. RJ Bishop, heavy damage. Elijah Gordon, we mentioned fastest in happy hour. McShane started 4th. Donovan Cage involved. Bradley Reams going to take it right to pit road. Oh, Carter Friesen's truck is destroyed. That'll end his Final 4 bid. Jesse Turner's got heavy damage. Jeremiah Dwayne was involved. Matthew Logan, Cody Rhodes, we saw flip. Ellison, thankfully, with the win. Will avoid getting bounced out here from this wreck. Jeff Toledo, Henry Sanford. Sam Young was involved. Peter Onjak, Greg Torres, Ibrahimian, Benjamin Ice, Charles Sanford. And finally, I believe that is the 37 of Colt Hudson. So many trucks on pit road, Vince. So many.
What a wreck, man. I mean, the ironic thing is to start with the guy who didn't need to have anything happen, Ellison. He was in the middle of it, and I don't know. I think we lost half our contenders. It might be down to like 4 or 5 guys left. That's it. We'll see.
Well, Friesen and Young came in outside the picture. However, depending, I mean, I think they're done anyway, but depending where Dwayne gets put down on the results, as we've got strategy already. I mean, some of these guys could still gain positions in the points, but I think most of them will still be out. I want to see just who stays out here. As it looks like Tringali, Sanchez, LJ, Carrillo, Baran-Oscus, Max Anderson, and Jack James, who I believe has some back-end damage. They're all staying out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks. The top 7 stay out. Those were the guys in the main pack. And everyone else came down pit road. Looks like just for a splash of fuel, they're out pretty quickly. Michael Markle and Leland Fief were also in the main group. Keith Rich, Adam Flickinger, Logan Gentry, Andrew Rich, Rob Evans, Edwin Mendez, Dylan Thomas appear to be all that's left so far, as Nanico and Cage will come off a pit road. It looks like Cole Baker is done making any repairs. But it appears that pretty much everybody else here on pit road is done. And I think this wreck took out like 24 trucks, Vince.
I was going to say, very interesting. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and we're just looking at it right here. It looks like over half the field was taken out in just one big mess. Before we look at the replay, I just want to say how I saw it was Cody Rhodes, Ellison, and someone else went up to the wall that flipped over Rhodes. And then Torres and Jeff Toledo clipped together, and they nailed the wall very hard. And then when the camera was transitioning, it looked like somebody else might have got wrecked down the track further back. But all in all, just a huge mess in turn 1. And so before we go back green, we're going to take a nice long look at this wreck. All right, here we are looking at the first caution of the day. We're extra slow mode because there is a lot to look at here. And it is just one big domino effect. They go into the corner. Cody Rhodes 4 wide with Ellison, Ice, LJ Toledo. They're going to track up here. And there's the initial contact. Now, Torres gets sent from the 48 down into the 16. That sends Nanico down into the 92. Look at the 97. Gentry gets hit by Cole Baker. That sends Baker down the track into Zach Rogers and Colt Hudson. Dwayne's getting turned around by Nanico. And then Friesen gets into the 37, who's in the air. That turns his truck. He flips from the bankment transition. And, I mean, man, what a wreck. Almost right on top of the 2 of Zach Rogers. But he flips up and over the 2 truck into the catch fence. Logan York almost made it through, but he got into the back of Turner. And it is just a war scene. And they're all wrecking back here. And up ahead, Sam Young and Andrew Rich get together on the transition. Sam Young spins himself around. Andrew Rich saves this thing. But Sam Young is not so lucky. And he's going to just hit with the back bumper into the outside wall. And what goes up must come down. And unfortunately for Sam Young, there are trucks coming that missed this wreck. Ibrahimian, Cage, and Ream, the main 3 here to look at, as there's Sam Young's truck sliding down the bankment, and Ibrahimian just has nowhere to go. And boom, right there, Cage gets sent around. Bradley Ream has nowhere to go. He's going to T-bone his teammate right here. That sends Ibrahimian flying through the air up onto the bankment. Matthew Logan actually got into Sam Young too. So that's why the front end is even more destroyed. That was a catastrophe. And then they're still wrecking. Jeremiah Dwayne's trying to find a way around this. He's slowing. He can't really get it down. He hits the 29 some more, adding insult to injury to not just Sam Young, but his own truck. That actually takes his truck out of this thing. And then Jesse Turner actually runs over RJ Bishop right here. That sends Bishop right up the banking. But he'll keep it together straight. As Jeremiah Dwayne, Sam Young, Matthew Logan, they chilling right here on the apron. Turner's trying to get back up on the track, trying to miss them. But he just can't quite get it to hop up, and he's going to clip Jeremiah Dwayne right here. And that sends him up right back into Bishop again, and that spins the 98 around. So, huge crash on Jack Ellison getting stuck on the bankment, among others. And, wow, we're going to play this for you guys back in full speed at the all the main points of the wrecks. That means Ellison's, then Torres and Jeff Toledo, the Carter Friesen deal, and lastly the Sam Young deal. So we're going to play those all back to you guys at full speed, and then we're going to do some onboards. First, we're looking at the James Ellison side of it. Saw Cody Rhodes get flipped onto his lid. There's Jeff Toledo and Greg Torres slamming the wall. There's Friesen flipping. I mean, just my goodness gracious. Oh, and Ellison would have kept it going too, but Torres was there, and then right there he's stuck. Now the Carter Friesen angle. And I mean, he had a run of steam. He was going 209 into turn 1, and he just barely got clipped into this, and then he barrel rolls up the track into the fence and slides down on top of Charles Sanford's 8 truck. Finally, the Sam Young situation. Oh man, just look how he missed the first part of it. Oh, just to clip Rich. Then he spins himself around. And then boom, hit there, and oh wow, Matthew Logan had nowhere to go. Oh, and then just insult to injury time and time again. All right, and now we're going to do some onboards, and trust me, there's probably going to be... Oh, wow, what was that? I didn't even know that was going to happen. Jesse Turner just got slammed by Charles Sanford at the end of that thing.
Oh, my.
Completely out of nowhere right at the end. I'm glad that got caught. Yeah, we're going to do probably like a dozen onboards or something crazy here. As we are under the red flag. Riding on board the back bumper cam of Yael Carrillo. Man, what a sight to behold from far away. Oh, there's the secondary wreck with Sam Young. And at this point, we are out of view. On board with James Ellison. That could be the end of Ellison's day at Pensacola. Inside the number 10 truck of Cody Rhodes. Really not much happened to Cody Rhodes. He got flipped onto his roof, bounced around a little bit, and just kind of slid down the bankment. And not on all 4 wheels for the 10 truck. On board the 20 of Greg Torres. Wow, what a hit. Tough break for the 20 of Torres. On board the 92 of Jeremiah Dwayne. Got it back going there, but it's not over. Just trying to find a way to miss this, and oh, bad decision. Inside the cockpit of Andrew Rich. Watch how he got through this one. Wow. That was very close for him 2 times. On board the 21 of Keith Rich. Wow. He missed all of it, Vince.
Rich, luckiest man on the planet.
On board with Sam Young. His day is over. Oh, and this is just a bad sight to see. And insult to injury. On board the 11 of Cole Baker. Little just kind of bouncing around there. And then he makes it by there. Riding on board with Dylan Thomas. How did he miss this one? Ooh, a little contact there with Anderson, but made it through nonetheless. Wow. On board with Delon Ibrahimian. Wow, he did an amazing job missing that first wreck. But Sam Young happened. Oh, man, just no time. And then slammed by his teammate. Tough break for Ibrahimian. Final on board, it's with Carter Friesen. Get ready for a ride. Wow. Let's get you to the race restart. We're getting ready to go green after looking at what was probably the biggest wreck of the season, and it shows by the retiree list. Out of the race, Jesse Turner, Carter Friesen, his final four hopes are over. Benjamin Ice, Colt Hudson, Greg Torres, Jeff Toledo, Henry Sanford, Charles Sanford, Cody Rhodes, Delon Ibrahimian, Sam Young's playoff hopes are over. Jeremiah Dwayne all but confirmed to be over as well. Matthew Logan, Toby McCoy, Zach Rogers, Elijah Gordon, Bradley Ream, Lucas Catano, Logan York, and then Priya McShane and RJ Bishop. Onjak and Ellison got stuck on the apron. They're both 2 laps down. 19 trucks on the lead lap. Top 7 stayed out under caution. So your top 10 rundown: Tringali leads, Sanchez 2nd, LJ Toledo 3rd, Carrillo 4th, Baran-Oscus 5th, Anderson 6th, James 7th, Markle 8th, Fief 9th, Keith Rich 10th, Adam Flickinger 11th, Gentry, Andrew Rich, Evans, Mendez, Thomas, Nanico, Cage, and Cole Baker. That's 19 trucks on the lead lap. As now looking at where trucks are at, the worst they can finish is 21st with a 10-point gain on the table for Keith Rich. That automatically knocks Jeremiah Dwayne out of the final 4.
And already, Zach, we see Ellison and Onjak keeping up on pace. Interesting.
It looked like that was Ellison making the move on the 60 there. So now Rich came in 11 points above Young and Friesen. And Carrillo came in 3 points above. So the difference is right now, as Sanchez is looking for the lead here, the differences to note right now is that Keith Rich is currently the first man in, I think, due to Jeremiah Dwayne finishing 31st. However, Cole Baker is another 12 points back. So Baker's going to need some things to fall his way if he's going to pass any of the 3 ahead of him in the point standings. As right now, he appears to be the only truck too damaged to keep up in the draft. So that does not bode well for Cole Baker's hopes. So this thing could be said and done unless some crazy wreck happens where the 21 gets taken out. I would think that would be the likely best case scenario for Cole Baker. He would only have 12 points to make up to Keith Rich. And he would just need Keith and some other drivers to get taken out. But it's going to be very tough now that half the field is gone.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that lap 1 or lap 2 wreck just pretty much kind of made your bed. Once you got involved in that, or if you didn't, you couldn't really do much. There's not much you can do at super speedway, as we still have pit strategy. I guess that's one thing we didn't talk about. The guys that came in at lap 3, they could finish this thing on one stop, whereas the other guys might do 2 stops. That's something we didn't talk about. That could actually happen. So we don't know yet.
Well, actually, I think what the goal there for them might have been, Vince, was, as we're going to go almost 4 wide there for a second, we only went 2 laps. Those drivers came down. They took fuel only. Anyone who had damage fixed their damage. Now, if we know the window is roughly 14 or 13 to 15 laps, maybe 16 even, the 7 that stayed out are going to pit sometime in that window. They're going to pit twice no matter what. However, the drivers that came to pit road under caution, they pushed their window back 2 full laps. So now they're looking at 15 to 18. And then therefore, potentially 30 to 33 instead of 28, 27 to 30. And if you have to pit 2 to 3 laps earlier here, it's almost half a can of fuel, which translates to about 3 seconds in your pit stall. So saving that 3 seconds on a track like this could take those top 7 who stayed out and put them in their own group at the end of the race 3 seconds back.
Right, so that is the only thing that could be, as you can see, more guys are off the pace. I think we're down to like a pack of 11 here, 12, 13, but yeah, that could be the only thing that saves a couple people, as we're still looking 4 wide.
As we're going to go 4 wide, FIFA's going to stick his nose in there. That'll put Carrillo and Adam Flickinger in the middle. And right now what you're seeing is Pensacola racing at its finest. They're only two rows, or 2 widths side by side. They're just too wide. I don't know why I'm making it complicated. But they're 2 wide at the front, about 3 rows deep. And what that's doing, it's allowing that outside line to get a run off the corner. You're seeing Sanchez do it every lap next to Michael Markle. Now FIFA is going to come with a head of steam. He's making it 3 wide on the bottom. That puts Sanchez all the way up another lane. And that kind of diminishes that outside line run.
Here comes Rich again. Here comes James, Dylan Thomas. Still looking at 4 wide. Looks like James is going to force the issue.
And now it's Andrew Rich to be specific, with Adam Flickinger, but Andrew will drop down in front of the 13. We've only got Carrillo and Andrew Rich in this main group. Keith Rich is keeping his distance, as Cole Baker is 19th, 17 seconds back. And it looks like Nanico and Gentry have lost the pack as well. Mendez and Cage is 2. So we're down to 14 trucks that look like they can win this thing. As the trucks that were 2 laps down, Onjak and Ellison, they're drafting with Nanico and Gentry. As there's Baker by himself running at about 187. This group back here, they're about 3 miles an hour off in the draft. As it looks like Mendez and Cage are trying to close back up. Cage has a head of steam going about 206 miles an hour. So they are trying to catch back up, but Mendez could fall out of the draft here, potentially.
I think if he just stays tucked in line, because they're still side by side up there, he'll get there. It's just going to take a little bit. We'll see.
He's running about 202. These guys are actually pulling away down the straightaway, as Leland Fief leads it. Now, we haven't mentioned the points outside the playoff drivers at all today. So when we want to talk about 13th in the points, right now the man leading that is LJ Toledo, 18 points ahead of Michael Markle. Both of those drivers still in the race. Ibrahimian has been knocked out. Adam Flickinger is still in the race. He's 16th in points, coming in a total of 37 points behind LJ. And then Leland Fief is another 19 points back at him, so he is 56 points back of LJ. So with 1 race left after today, the window to hit 13th in the point standings is about to close. And we'll have a pretty good idea of who's fighting for the highest non-playoff driver in the points.
That's always big to be the best of the rest, right? Especially for next season with confidence and people moving up, people dropping down from both series. It's always good to get that little contingency award. Is Yael's coming back with Andre Baranowskis and Hillary Sanchez looking for the lead.
And I'll tell you what, Vince, I have seen, I think, Michael Markle and LJ Toledo at the front ever since Markle won at Talladega, now 3 races ago. I mean, those two have been hot as fire during these playoffs, as they are doing some weird kind of 4 wide, and Fief is almost on the top 4 wide. Sanchez sticking the nose in. Baranowskis looking for the lead on the way bottom. And they are indeed 4 wide. We could still have another wreck yet. We're on lap 15 too, so pit window is about to open up. Oh, and it was almost right there. Quarter panel was touched. That was the 54 and the 7. That was really close. As we're still 4 wide, but Carrillo will pull off for pit road on lap 15.
No doubt, 2-stopper for Yael. That's no. Dylan Thomas top to bottom, 4 wide. And they settle out.
And now back to 2 wide as these drivers are getting ready to pit. So Carrillo and Mendez will be the first ones down. And of course, Carrillo on the pole having that first pit stall. Right side tires up. You don't really need tires here, but it can help due to the high speeds. Looks like Carrillo will do right sides and fuel. Now, who will come to pit road here on lap 16? I think Baranowskis is coming. And Sanchez will lead him down. That's 4 more trucks down pit road. Oh, and Baranowskis almost got turned by LJ Toledo.
He almost into the pit wall, too.
Oh, and he's still running her over. And she manages to get service. Oh, man, that was kind of intense.
This is no stranger for Baranowskis, who had problems throughout the season on pit road, so...
For real. She has had so much bad luck on pit road, and that wasn't even her fault. This is where you got to be careful. If you're one of the 7 who stayed out under caution, you cannot afford yourself to get caught on the outside and miss pit road. You will run out of gas here, and it's a long 3 miles back to pit road. And 5 more trucks will pull off. That's Thomas, Fief, Keith Rich, Cage, and Adam Flickinger. So at this point, it's all but confirmed that Andrew Rich, Yael Carrillo, and Keith Rich will join Ellison in the final 4. It's just a matter of this race going to the end, with Cole Baker having heavy damage. And it looks like right now the top 3 or the leaders rather, are Sanchez, Baranowskis, James, and Carrillo, as LJ has actually lost their draft a little bit.
That Flickinger group, they had a nice 5-truck pack, though, strong. They get up to speed, that could be a factor. And this pack, too, if they can stay within reach of each other.
Well, they're single file. Are they all coming in? Yes, they are. So Markle, Evans, Tringali, Anderson, and Andrew Rich will all come to pit road here on lap 18. That'll set them up to pit around 8 to 6 to go, and they'll have to take the least amount of fuel for the finish. So these 5 are looking pretty good to win this thing. That's 2 part-timers from the Cup Series, 2 rookies strictly in the Truck Series, and then Andrew Rich, who's running just this 1 season of Jerky Pro full-time because he had never done it before in the past. And this will complete the cycle as Sanchez and Baranowskis are racing for what we believe will be the lead.
I think they will be the leaders, yep.
Leland Fief right there in tow. Keith Rich, 4th truck back. This might be actually a little close. There's Evans. There's Andrew Rich. There's Michael Markle. Is he the first one? Yes. And Fief with a head of steam. He's going to probably try and go 3 wide here, but Ooh, he's just going to quite get there, but Michael Markle's in his way. That'll give the lead to Baranowskis. Baranowskis with her first multi-win season, though it wasn't enough. She was one position shy of top 25 in the points when she won at the end of the regular season at Armory Digital. Could she get another super speedway win here today? If she does, that would be a record-tying 5th career win with Donovan Cage.
For Audrey, I mean, what do you got to lose? It's basically the last race out of the Texas for the season. You might as well go throw caution to the wind. But now the pack is reforming. Let's see who we got in this pack. 'Cause I don't think we're just going to have a couple cars. I think it might be more than 5. Yep.
And speaking of Baranowskis, her season right now, 24th in the points. 2 wins, 4 top 5, 7 top 10s. And, I mean, you can only say what could have been. Her average starting position is an 18th place average starting position. It's technically a 17.56, but we're rounding up on that one. But tracks I think about: Charlotte, pit road problems; Pig Stadium, pit road problems. Like, there have been a lot of tracks before she got that win at Nazareth. There were like a good 3 to 4 races that it looked like she was poised to have a good top 5, top 10 run, or even win the race. And, you know, those are the races that probably stick out in her mind where, you know, she was only like, I think, 2 or 3 points short of 25th in the standings. She could have been in the playoffs if just one of those races had gone her way.
Yeah, that's what really it is all about. Execution on all aspects. It's not just the track, it's pit road, it's the pit crew, it's the strategy. That's what makes this season long and enduring, right? But we'll see. We'll see what Baranowskis does later in her career as we enter next season, for future seasons down the road. But from the front, we're starting to go single file.
Yeah, but at this time, no confirmations that she'll be back to GMS Racing, but she's been there her entire career over now 3 seasons, so it is very likely that she returns, as she's had nothing but success with them. As Fief and Sanchez, 2 pairs of rookies battling for the win right now at lap 22 of 40. We've mentioned in the past how some of these single car teams are on a rotary type system where other single car teams rotary in and they rotary out if they have a bad season. And All Out Motorsports number 7 Toyota team is one of those teams. So Sanchez trying to get him a good run here to maybe jump them up in the point standings. It's going to be difficult. She comes into today 37th in the points, and the driver she's behind, she's 32 points behind. That's Greg Torres, by the way.
Old Baker.
And then top 30 in the points for Sanchez is about, I believe, 80 points almost. As yes, indeed, Cole Baker in the way. That's going to cause a bit of a weird 4 wide. As Evans, Thomas, Carrillo, and Andrew Rich get held up. And Fief will power through for the lead, as I was looking at the standings there. Baker continuing to hold up Rob Evans, as this pack is now 10 lead lap trucks strong, as Adam Flickinger, Nico Tringali, and Max Anderson, along with Cage and LJ Toledo, had poor pit stops.
Mendez, too. He's way down there.
Now, Toledo and Anderson, or not Toledo, Tringali and Anderson pit with that last group, so they could likely gain some of this time back on the next pit stop, but they're going to have to work together with Cage and Toledo, where they are going to just continue to lose time. As now Jack James goes to the race lead. James still looking for that first career Truck Series win.
Okay, here comes Audrey using the slingshot with Hillary Sanchez on the bottom.
And man, Leland Fief has been up here at the front all race, and with good reason. I know it's just a draft lap, but a 52.122, that is a pretty good lap around here in the draft. But Baran-Oscas with a 52.005 at some point. But, you know, you just get lined up in the draft. You can see, because of that lap 2 incident, a lot of drivers never really got around to running a fast lap. In fact, they weren't even up to speed that first lap or two.
That's what happens when you don't have the full acceleration. If you don't get 3 or 4 laps in, you'll never get that fast lap, yeah.
And now fighting at the front again, Baran-Oscas and Fief. Michael Markle with a bit of a run there, trying to make a move, but Evans with the block, as they're going to go 4 wide here with James, Thomas, Andrew Rich, and Evans.
We'll just get into that pit window pretty soon, a couple laps. We'll see what happens with strategy. I think it should be 29 to 32. I think we should see maybe 33. Someone might push the issue.
Yeah, I think the cycle was actually a lot bigger than I thought, because the first one to come to pit road was Carrillo by himself, lap 15 coming to 16. So I would believe that he will pit somewhere around lap 30. And then everyone else will pit anywhere after, no later than, I think, probably 35, maybe 36 if they can really push it. Because this second pit stop, this stays green, that second pit stop is going to be huge, because the less fuel you can take, the further out you'll get ahead of the people who had to pit 5 laps before you. As Fief is looking for the lead again.
Yeah, Fief definitely has the strongest truck tonight, or today. I don't really see anyone else that can challenge, especially when out front. But we'll see. Yeah, Yale's right there. He's just looking for another victory, right, to get that momentum into Texas if he's locked in.
Yes, indeed. Logan York won this race last year, went on to finish second at Texas and win the championship. Could Carrillo do the same thing? Andrew Rich, Keith Rich, one of the 3. A win right now would be some very, very top heat momentum for the Final 4 race. But Fief, man, I'm telling you what, this truck is reminding me of the truck Ellison had back at the first Talladega race. Just so strong, so good in the draft, and just able to lead the pack. Like, they just have to get on a line of 4 trucks or so to even get a good run on them. And then Jack James makes the move on Carrillo first.
Unlike Talladega, we didn't have 5-6 wrecks. Oh, here comes Mendez. This could be a little factor here.
Mendez is going to be in the way, but he'll go to pit road instead. That's why they were peaking up. So Mendez was running by himself that entire run, and he had to pit about 2 laps earlier than Carrillo did, just from running by himself. And it's also to note that we haven't had a caution period this run for Carrillo to save fuel, so he might have to pit a lap earlier.
Yeah, that's why I said 29-33. I mean,
we're going 4 wide for the lead. Everybody peeked out on everybody right there. Thomas will tuck back in behind James. That was about to get interesting.
Carrillo backed off there. He might be coming in.
I think you might be right, Vince. Baran-Oscas might be coming in too. She's really close to the yellow line. And yes, indeed, everybody pitting early. James, Baran-Oscas, Carrillo, and Sanchez will pit together. Coming to 11 to go. Yes, indeed.
That's the thing. Do you want to pit early and get your friends, or do you want to pit later and still have a nice lead, but then you're they took tires.
It looks like they're taking left side tires too.
Ooh,
that's a little bit of grip towards the bottom of the track. They took right sides on the first stop, so a pretty obvious call there. But if you stay out as long as you can, you're probably going to want to just take fuel only. So
guys aren't really organized either. We'll see.
Yep. So Thomas leads them. Evans, Fief, Markle, the top 5 right now. Keith Rich kind of Looks like Keith Rich is losing their draft. These drivers all stay out. Now we know Tringali and Anderson stayed out the longest last time, so will any of these three right here pit? Answer's no. And Keith Rich has definitely lost their draft. It's all Chevys up here, Vince. All Chevys right now.
Yeah, Chevy Alliance. Now, one thing for Keith Rich, though, he might have lost the draft, but if he can pit with these guys, he'll have a much smoother entrance. He might be able to gain some ground. That's his only hope, I think. But they got to come in now. Otherwise, if they keep turning laps, he won't be able to make up that distance.
Yeah,
So we've seen that in the past at super speedways. But look at this.
Oh, man. Onjack and Gentry side by side. Lap traffic. That'll slow these drivers up. That'll help Keith Rich. If these three go in now and he goes in with them, that'll really help. Nope. No signs of anyone pitting. So, man, those 4 trucks, Vince, they pit really early compared to what everyone else is doing. Not sure if that was the call to make.
Oh, there comes Toledo.
LJ will come in. Now, speaking of that group, there's Baranowskis and Jack James, and then Carrillo and Sanchez. They're just both racing each other side by side, so they're not formed up. These two are in the draft, though. They're gaining a little bit. But they are getting racy at the front some more.
I think you made your bet if you're this group, fuel only. Run until like lap 35. Oh, Fief might be coming in.
And survey says yes. Fief and Onjack will pit. Keith Rich will follow through. So I don't think Keith is close enough, though, to draft with Fief here. But I'm curious on the call here for the 74 team. If it's fuel only, he could still come out in front of Jack James and Baranowskis. Nope, left side tires are up. Flickinger and Cage will come down too. He has to yield for them. And away he goes. Ellison pitting. There's Baranowskis and James. Sanchez and Carrillo continuing the draft up towards them side by side. As Michael Markle leads, they're coming to 7 to go this time by. And the top 4 will come to pit road.
Game on now. Here we go. Who has the best pit stop will win this race, I think. And these guys stay pit.
Tringali's going to stay out another lap, but he'll be by himself, so it's not going to really help him any.
Unless he takes fuel only. I think that's the only play for him at this point.
Ooh.
Okay.
Evans taking right sides, Marco lefts, Thomas lefts. And I believe Andrew Rich probably was something similar, but Thomas holding for a little more fuel there. That's going to send him to the back of the group.
Now, where's the other group?
There's Fief. He came out in front. So did Keith Rich. Look at how much farther in front they were from those 4 trucks that pit so long ago. Anderson, though, will have no chance. And Fief's getting held up by Baker. That's what Keith Rich wants to see. Oh, but Fief is going to have these 4 trucks with him. So Keith Rich not in range to win this race. But we know he's pretty much in the Final 4 at this point. Tringali will be the last one to pit road. So that puts Michael Markle in the provisional lead, but Evans has a huge run of momentum. As right now it's a 5-truck Chevy battle for the win.
Could be a huge gap. In fact, I think Rich could be a huge one, I think.
Yep, Tringali's already been passed. And there's the second group. Sanchez, James, Keith Rich, Baranowskis, and Carrillo. But they have lap truck of Cole Baker in their way. And with the even number of trucks in these groups, I don't think they're going to catch him. So it's going to be one of these 5. Michael Markle, will he get Super Speedway win number 2 on the season? Can Rob Evans get a Truck Series win this season in his final start? Dylan Thomas, Leland Fief looking for career win number 1. And then you've got Andrew Rich, who's looking for that surge of momentum. And what would be his, I believe, 4th win on the season. Yes, indeed. And with Andrew not in the playoff or championship hunt for the Digital Storm Cup Series, Vince, he got eliminated after the round of 16. Having a shot at this Jerky Pro Truck Series championship is huge for him. He's definitely in the Final Four with where the other contenders that have DNF'd are going to finish. But a win to get some momentum heading into that Final Four race at Texas next week would be huge for Andrew Rich.
And both Riches are in. That's going to be a fun little storyline to cover as we get to Texas. That'll be interesting. But these 5 are pretty much going to stay single file until Markle peaks out. But I don't know if that's going to work. You need help. So the outside line might actually have a better run towards the end of this race.
And it all depends how they form up, Vince. 4 laps to go. Time is running out. But these drivers are mostly single file, while the second group is side by side. But Fief is in the lead. I mean, he's just had the truck to beat today. It does not look like they'll catch Ellison or Nanico. Markle's got a run. He's looking on Thomas, but he tucks back in line. Now he'll tuck low in the corner.
Markle is a super speedway ace. Won at Talladega, too. He knows how to get it done here. Evans looking for that win in the part-time start. Rich is falling back a little bit, too.
Yep, Evans with 2 wins in the Cup Series on super speedways, both at Talladega. Andrew Rich, 2018 Daytona 500 winner with a win at Armory Digital this year in the Cup Series. So those two have won twice on super speedways in the Cup Series. Markle has won once down here. In fact, Andrew Rich won Daytona this season. So 3 wins of super speedway wins for Rich between 2 series. But time is running out, and it doesn't look like anyone has really been able to get a run on Leland Fief.
Fief has that bubble of air. No one can get past that bubble of air. But we'll see. There's still 2 laps to go when we get to the line. I don't think live traffic's... Ooh, Cole Baker, though.
It could be possible. It'll be 2 to go at the line. Oh, I think they're going to catch them all. That could give the extra draft Markle or whoever's in second place needs. As you see, Evans makes that move on the straightaway, and he loses the draft, and then Thomas just gets right to his outside.
The side draft, yep.
That prevents third place from going anywhere. And Michael Markle's just like, I'm losing any push draft from these guys when they make the move on the straightaway, and then they're too far back in the corner to give it to me, as Evans makes a move again. This time Thomas will go with him, but it's a bit late.
Went too low. Way too low, yeah.
Now Thomas is looking for third in the corner. He'll have teammate Andrew Rich behind them, but we're coming to the white flag. Oh, I just don't think they're close enough to catch them. Leland Fief's looking for career win number 1 as he takes the white flag at Pensacola. He's had the strongest truck all day. Thomas peeking there into turn 1, can't quite get there. Now he's looking for it in the corner. Markle couldn't get a run, so Thomas is going to make it for him. And that's going to give them a bit of a gap to Fief. Andrew Rich is pushing his teammate. Does he push him to the win? Evans peeks out. Ooh, Evans peeked out, though. That kind of hurt their momentum a little bit. Can Thomas get anything here in the final corners? We've seen some close finishes at Pensacola over the course of history. Does he do the move? He's got the momentum. Coming off of turn 4, he'll be right to his bumper. Rich will make the move for second, and Leland Fief will win at Pensacola.
I think the best truck won on a plate track for the first time this season.
First career win for rookie Leland Fief. And that's his 4th top 5 and 5th top 10 on the season. And that will likely put him in contention for 13th in the standings next week at Texas. Dylan Thomas going to come home short in second place. Andrew Rich third, Evans fourth, Michael Markle fifth. Baran Oscar sixth, Carrillo seventh, Sanchez eighth with a very good run for that team. Jack James ninth, and Keith Rich rounds out the top 10. As Cole Baker will come home in 19th place. As you see the full standings breakdown here. Top of all the drivers who were taken out in that big wreck on lap 2. Tough break for Friesen, Sam Young, Jeremiah Dwayne. Sam Young with one of the most consistent seasons in recent memory, but without a win for that 29 team. So we will have the following drivers in the Final Four. Two-time race winner, James Ellison. Three-time race winner, Andrew Rich. Another two-time winner, Yael Carrillo, who's a rookie at that, and the lone Toyota. And then Keith Rich, the lone driver without a win, who will be in the Final Four events. And Keith, his last and only career win in the Truck Series was the 2017 finale race at Homestead. Could he bring back some of that finale magic? It's a different track, but could he find career win number 2 and a championship next week?
Well, you know what they say, man. All you need is one win, right? That's it. Just or beat the top 3, the other 3. So maybe save that one last setup for the best track, right? Texas, that 1.5 miles. And we also might have some spoilers, right? We got guys like Donovan Cage who have been intermediate aces over this year in the course of the season. They might play spoiler. It's going to be a fun weekend when we get down to Texas.
Indeed, it will be. Donovan Cage winning the 2019 finale race at Texas last season for his first career win. And then looking at some other storylines really quickly here at the end of this race, Andrew Rich, of course, is a rookie in the Jerky Pro Truck Series, but because he's a veteran in the Digital Storm Cup Series, he will not be running down here full-time next year. This is his one and only chance at a championship unless he were to take off a season from Cup, which he is not doing next year. Yael Carrillo is a rookie, so he still has another chance next season if he chooses to run down here full-time. And then James Ellison, we know, is in his 3rd season. He's the veteran of the series, Vince. He wants this championship here in his 3rd season. He'll definitely probably run a 4th full-time season next year, but likely with this Final Four appearance, we'll see James Ellison somewhere as a Cup Series rookie in 2021. But time will tell on where that will be. But we're all wrapped up here today at Pensacola, and we're looking forward to that Cup Series elimination race tomorrow night.
Should be interesting under the lights, and it's been a great, I guess you could say, season. We got one more race, and I guess you could say regular and almost postseason. Now we just get to the finale, and we'll go from here.
All right, that'll do it for us here today at Pensacola. Leland Fief is your winner. Andrew Rich, Yael Carrillo, Keith Rich, and James Ellison. Your Final Four next week at Texas. We'll see you guys there where we crown our 2020 Jerky Pro Truck Series champion.
Sign off.